everyone, and welcome to Work It Out Wednesdays with your host, Rhonda Wright. Now, today is Saturday, and you may be wondering, why am I on today and not Wednesday? And the reason why is because God really placed something on my heart that I wanted to share with you. And one of the things you will learn about me is that whenever God puts something on my heart, I don't want to muzzle God by waiting until Wednesday or a certain day to do something. I want to go ahead and share it right now because who knows, somebody may need to hear this message and they can't afford to wait. So let's get into it. What I wanted to share with you today is on the topic of forgiveness. Now, we all know the importance of forgiving people when they have done something to us because it's for our healing, it's for our well-being. It's not for them, but it's for us. And yes, that is true. But there's another part of forgiveness that is just as important, and that is forgiving yourself. Now, there's two occasions where forgiving yourself is really critical, and that is when you have done something to hurt somebody and when someone has done something to you and you've done nothing wrong. I'm going to explain. But let's dive into when you have done something to hurt somebody. A lot of times we do things out of either selfishness. I mean, let's be honest. We do something because we want to do it regardless of the consequences. It's just what it is. The second reason why we do something because it's out of revenge. They did something to us, so we want to pay them back. You know, it feels good to say, I'm going to pay you back for how you hurt me. And then a lot of times, another way we have done something to hurt somebody is simply because there has been a miscommunication. Now let's look on the opposite side. When you have done nothing wrong, but yet someone still chose to hurt you. In those instances where it's forgiving yourself, it's more so of you carrying a guilt or a burden that you should have never carried. And what I mean by that is sometimes when we know we have been loyal to somebody, but yet that person still chooses to hurt us, we tend to carry a guilt or a burden to say something like, I should have known, or I could have done something to prevent them from doing this. These are things that is never intended for us to carry because it's never your fault for how someone chose to treat you. It's never your fault for someone choosing to mistreat you. So you can't carry that guilt. You can't carry that burden, and you have to learn to let it go because the way someone chooses to handle you is them and them alone. You have no part of that. So now let's talk about how we can move towards the road of recovery. How can we learn to forgive ourselves? Number one, understand the why it happened. For those of you who have done the hurts, why did you do it? Understand what made you do that. Now, whatever our motives are, whether it is revenge, or whether it was selfishness, or was because of something someone said or did, regardless of what the motives are, we must understand that it does not justify the wrong. It is not a justification for what we did. Now, you have to understand the why to get you to your number two, which is the how do you fix it. Yes, we all have areas in our lives where we can improve. I don't care how much money you have, how much education you may have, how popular you may think you are, whatever it is, we all have room for improvement, right? So how can you fix it? How can you fix it? And the fixing part has a lot to do with the internal part. What is it inside of us that made us feel as though it was okay to hurt somebody that way? That's one of those self-evaluations that we need to really think about. We know why we did it, but what is it inside of us that made us feel okay to do it? Now, only you can decide that. Only you can figure that out. It's okay to go to therapy. Matter of fact, I encourage going to therapy if you feel as though that is what you need. Don't feel bad for going to therapy, going to see a therapist. Never feel bad about that. I strongly encourage it. So if you feel as though you need to go that route, go. Go that route and do not allow anyone to make you feel negative or badly for doing it. Remember, this is all about what you need to do to improve you. This is all about self-care. So know the why and know the how so that whenever you come to those crossroads again, you can choose better decisions and not choose to do something that you know is going to hurt someone. It's always good to know the lesson in a bad situation or the lesson in any situation so that you can improve on it, so that you can learn from it. And this also further help you to move forward. And lastly, work it out. When you have done something wrong to somebody, from the moment you decide to do the act, you need to immediately correct that wrong. That is your working it out. Doing the things that you need to do to correct your wrongs. Now, don't allow a lot of time to go by, because you know how it is when you hold in anger. It just festers up and it builds up, and then finally you reach to this point where you just explode. You don't want to get to that point. You know the saying, if you give the enemy an inch, he take a yard. So you don't want to leave room for the enemy to make things worse. The moment the act has been committed, it is important that you immediately try to correct those wrongs by apologizing, not just with your lips, but with the things that you are going to do to correct it, with your heart. Make sure there's a strong intent to make things right. Even if you didn't do anything wrong, it's important to know the why it happened. Now, they may say they did it because of something that you may have said or something that you may have done. And even though you don't agree with it, still apologize if they said that your act caused them hurt, caused them to be offended. Again, you may not agree with it, but if they are hurt by something you did or said, even if you were unaware, it's important that we apologize. Not if we hurt them, but apologize for hurting them. And then communicate. Make sure the line of communication with calm and with respect. Make sure we communicate our intent. A lot of relationship has been broken because of the lack of communication. So I hope all of this is something that will help you to move forward, to get out of this rut that you're in, because you're holding on to something that it's time for you to let it go. It's time for you to forgive yourself. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to move forward. But you have to know how to forgive yourself for the things, for your mistakes. Forgive yourselves for taking on guilt and burden that was never your fault. Look, we all make mistakes, and we will continue to make mistakes. But it's important that we learn from our previous mistakes so we don't continue to repeat those mistakes. And when we do make mistakes, do what you can to make those things right. Look, that's all I have for today. I hope it was something that will encourage you. If you do like it and you want to hear more, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I will be back next week, and remember, do something to be a blessing to you. Do something that will be a blessing to yourself so that you can be a blessing to others. Take care. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.